The truly seismic arrest of Nicola Sturgeon by police investigating the SNP's missing million in donations from party members for a second referendum campaign that never happened is a massive wake-up call about the corruption of the British mainstream broadcast media. I have been bringing attention to the various scandals of the SNP, including this one, for the past 2 years, as loyal viewers know. It's no secret the missing money outrage has been hiding in plain sight. On the night Queen Nick quit as party leader, it was obvious to me she had been forced off stage by the growing investigation. But the MSM continued to swallow her narrative, like Woke ITV's political editor Robert Peston.
Argument to be made that Nicola Sturgeon has been the most impressive leader of a major political party of the past decade.
He went further, calling her resignation statement remarkable, suggesting her call for less irrationality and hysteria in politics should be heeded. You couldn't make it up, especially given during that time his own broadcaster, aided and abetted by the Civil Service and Westminster establishment, had launched an irrational and hysterical campaign to bring down Boris Johnson, our Prime Minister, elected with a landslide majority. And that was over a piece of cake and some leaving drinks at number 10 Downing Street, in contravention of those disgusting COVID rules. The bid to bring down Boris by the Ramona elite has been truly deranged. Even when they got what they wanted, effectively forcing the wet Tory parliamentary party into removing a massively successful PM mid-term, that still wasn't enough. Given the electoral threat he posed to a socialist government coming in, the kangaroo court of the Privileges Committee was set up to remove him from Parliament for good. It was a modern-day show trial, and it worked. Fed up and rightly furious, Boris quit on Friday night, and the MSM celebrated with unbridled glee.
Well, I'm joined in the studio now by our correspondent Liz Bates to bring us more on this. I've been just quickly flicking through it, Liz. It's an extraordinary statement.
Well, you haven't even got to the best bit, because he's standing down as an MP. He is triggering an immediate by-election in his constituency of Uxbridge and South Ruislip. So the former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, will no longer be an MP.
The best bit, she couldn't even remove the smile from her face. They are not even trying to hide it anymore, folks. The British Bashing Corporation and Sly News would go on to interview Alistair Campbell about the dishonesty of Boris. Yep, the bloke whose lies led us into an illegal war in Iraq, pontificating over Boris apparently misleading over a piece of cake or a Zoom quiz. The transparency of their hatred would be farcical if it didn't pose such a clear and present threat to British democracy. Now, you know, I think Boris was a really good Prime Minister who had the potential to be great if it wasn't for the dastardly blob. A blob who conspired against him to make life in Downing Street impossible. The blob soon did the same to Liz Truss. As the former Conservative Party chairman, Jake Berry, put it correctly, you voted for Brexit. The establishment blocked it. You voted for Boris Johnson. The establishment has forced him out. Who is in charge here? The voters or the blob? And I know the answer to that. Fishy Rishi could and should have halted the Privileges Committee witch hunt and handed Boris some sort of significant ceremonial role. But he didn't have the balls to take on the blob and keep his biggest threat in Parliament. So while the MSM ignored the SNP scandal and continued a deranged hate campaign against Boris, the champion of Brexit, remember, it's British democracy that's now under threat. As Boris himself put it to an aide about the Privileges Committee, this just confirms all our worst suspicions. It's a total stitch-up, and they're not even bothering to hide it.